Never save money. That was the strange advice my grandfather gave me, and for a long time I did not understand it. But this is the story that taught me what he truly meant. In a small village, surrounded by dry fields and dusty roads, there lived a man people quietly called Foolish. He was not cruel, not unkind, but always waiting. Every evening he sat outside his mud house, staring at the horizon as if tomorrow was hiding there. He spoke of plans as others spoke of weather. One day I will open a shop. One day I will buy land. One day life will change. But today he did nothing. Years passed. His hands stayed soft while others grew rough. His house stayed poor while others slowly improved. People stopped teasing him and started feeling sorry for him. His wife worked endlessly, cooking, cleaning, surviving. Sometimes she would look at him with tired eyes and say, "Dreams do not feed children." He would nod and answer, "One day they will." One night, when the wind was cold and the house felt emptier than usual, his grandson asked in a small voice, "Grandpa, is there food?" The cupboard was empty. The man looked down at the floor and felt something heavy in his chest. For the first time, he understood that hope without action is just another kind of hunger. The next morning, he went to the fields to work as a laborer. The sun burned his skin. The soil cut his hands. His back ached as if it might break. Each step felt like punishment for all the days he had wasted. When he returned home with a few coins in his pocket, he placed them on the table and said softly, "It is not much, but it is real." But the money never stayed. Food took it. Medicine took it. Small emergencies swallowed it whole. Every week was the same. Work, pain, a little pay, and then nothing again. One day at the village shop, he overheard men talking. "The secret is saving. If you save, you are safe." Those words stayed in his mind like a promise. That night, he found an old jar and hid it under the bed. Every week, after buying only the bare minimum, he dropped a few coins inside. The sound of metal touching glass made him feel powerful, as if each coin was a brick in a wall protecting his future. He began to skip small comforts. He walked in broken sandals. He ate less so the jar could grow more. When his wife asked, "What good is saving if we are still hungry?" he replied, "Someday you will understand." Months passed. The jar grew heavy. To him, it looked like freedom. One morning, he carried it to the market, placed the money on the counter, and said, "I want enough food for my family." The seller counted the coins and shook his head. "Prices have gone up. This is not enough." The man felt the world tilt. He had saved so much, yet it was worth less than before. On the walk home, the jar felt heavier than ever, not with value, but with disappointment. That night, his grandson asked, "If we save and still have nothing, what is the use of saving, Grandpa?" The old man had no answer. Days became darker. Hunger returned. Hope grew thin. One morning, sitting outside, he watched his neighbors pass by. One carried milk, another carried eggs, another carried baskets of vegetables. They were not rich, but they were not afraid. They had something that worked for them. Suddenly, a thought returned to him, something he had once ignored. What if we buy chickens? His wife looked at him surprised, but said nothing. He took the last of the money from the jar and bought a few weak, thin birds. When he released them into the yard, his grandson laughed and ran after them. At first, there were only 1 or 2 eggs a day. They ate some and sold some. With that money, they bought another chicken, then another. The man began writing everything in a small notebook. Each egg mattered. Each small gain felt different from the jar. This was not money sitting still. This was something alive. Soon the yard was full of noise. Neighbors came to buy eggs. The house felt warmer. The table felt fuller. One afternoon, the old man held an egg in his hand and said to his grandson, "This is better than a jar of coins. It feeds us, it grows, it does not wait, it works." The boy smiled and said, "So you are not foolish anymore, Grandpa." The old man smiled back, his eyes wet. "No, my child, I finally learned." The jar stayed forgotten under the bed. When people spoke about saving money, the old man pointed to his chickens and said, "Saving money is like holding water in your hands. It always slips away. Make it work, even if you start small." And that is how the man once known for waiting learned the truth of his life. Never save money just to keep it. Make it grow.